Hi, how's it going everyone? My name is Darren and I'm from Noah Garden Center, and what we're going to do is that we're going to start sharing a few really short videos and just to teach everyone about how to do gardening, how can you find easy to get materials back in home, and during this circuit breaker in Singapore, and you guys are just so bored at home, right? So what I want to do is to come up with some ideas about to show you how easy gardening really is. And so today I'm going to talk about this plant. It's called Chlorophytum comosum. So you might find it a bit wordy. The common name is actually called a spider plant. So I guess that's easy, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link below later, and then you can click on it, and then you can be directed to this particular plant that you can purchase on Noah Garden Center. So really, this plant is a bit more common, and it's easy to maintain, and it looks really beautiful. So how does it look like? It looks like this plant behind me, okay? So you can see that it looks a bit like a spider, where the legs of the plant, the leaves of the plant looks like a spider's legs. And what I'm going to teach you today about this particular plant is that you can actually generate a lot more plants from one plant without any extra cost. You don't have to buy anything, right? So I'm going to teach you how to grow new plants today. Okay, so look at that. This is what I have just replanted about a few days ago, and just because I'm just bored, and really the plant behind is just giving me a lot of babies. So I'm going to show you how to get more babies, alright? So one plant here, over a period of time when it's planted, right, it will start to generate a lot of little babies like these guys, alright? So you can see that there's like tiny flowers. I'm going to cut it down, and then it generates out like that. Okay, so you get one branch that has a little bit of tiny baby plants, right? And some of them even starts to flower. And what I like to do is that I usually like to cut them up, and then I'm going to propagate them one plant for one pot. And you must understand that when the plant generates babies, you need to be a bit more patient, because you see, for example, these are new babies, and there isn't any like tiny roots below. Okay, so actually I shouldn't have cut these, but I want to show it to you. This is actually too early to be harvested. What you should do is to look for a bigger plant, a bigger babies like these guys. Okay, so this is relatively much bigger. So over a period of time, this will become like this, and you can see that right at the bottom here, there is actually some roots. All right. Okay, so the roots are starting to come out, and this is the best time to harvest it. So what you do is that you just cut it out, all right, and then you go as close as possible to trim it here. Okay, so once you get this baby, you want to let the roots grow out first in water without putting into the soil. So how do you do that quickly is that you just grab any container if you have back home. Things like that will be easy, where you can see the water is clear, and then what you want to do is that just to put the plants in, and you do not want the whole plant to be soaked in water because it will start to rot. So what you do is that you just let the bottom part of the plant, especially the roots, just come into a slight contact with the water, just like this. Okay. So this is just a bottle, and then the water is actually up to this level, and I just put it into here so that there's some stability. The plants will start to root itself in. Let me just squeeze it in. Yeah. So I can just leave it there for maybe say about a week or two. And then ultimately, the roots will start to come out. Alright, so this is one method. The other method that I want to quickly teach you is, if you have something like a glass like that, right? You just grab aluminium foil back home, okay? These are really common ones that we have. So you just need to tear off a part of it, crush it, and make it into like a ball. Maybe something like about, put your fingers in and make it into a ball, so to speak. And then try to make it to a hole in the middle, yeah, and that's big enough to fit into this, right? So you stick it in there so that it will get stuck in the middle like that, and then you put the plant in just like that, and you fill it up with water. So what's so special about this method is really to create more water, so you don't have to add water all the time. And then you want to teach the roots to actually grow down into the water, because every single root there is a sensor at the end, and they will always search for moisture. So the plant is actually quite smart, you know, in this sense. So what you want to do is that you just want to add water here, and you create this aluminum foil just to like a suspended platform, and then you put the plant right in between the hole, and then the roots are just touching the water. As the water goes down, the plant will be forced to root down, and after a while you start seeing all these roots coming down. Okay, so the question is how much roots should be developed before you upgrade them into a pot? I would say that relatively, if you can see about 2 or 3 inches of about roots, and they are white in color, which means they are very healthy, you can actually remove the plant. Okay, remove the aluminum foil, and then you start to put it into a soil. Now the question is, what kind of soil is good for typical plant? I would say that don't get too worried about the soil, because we actually, most of the soil are okay. We just want to stay away from soil that are very clay. You know, they have a lot of water retention. So I want to show you today is like what kind of soil are actually suitable for especially new plants and for healthy growing plants. I want to show you 3 different kind of materials, and the third one will be this. I'll just pour some out. Okay. So there's 3 different kinds of material, right? If you look on the right side here, I really like this kind of soil. It's really typical, just a potting mix, right, that you can get from the nursery. And these guys are just mixed with some compost and some coconut fiber, so they're relatively soft and easy to drain out. But some plants may not like so much water, so you want to make it a bit more porous so that the water can quickly go in and come out. So you go to these guys. These guys are something like a really tiny rocks. Okay, so when you mix the 2 of them together like this, right? Okay, it becomes like better at drainage. Why? Because the porous spaces will allow the water to just go down. Okay, the highest porosity will be these guys in the middle. These are called LECCA, L-E-C-C-A, and I like to use them to really just to create a volume for the water to be stay there at the bottom. So what you can do is that, just like these guys that I've done, at the bottom I will fill it out with this LECCA to as high as possible, right, until this level, and then I'll start to mix these 2 together and put it for the whole chunk. And then this, I'll just plant it right in the middle and just let it grow. Okay, so next time, right, when the plant starts to root out, they will start to capture and grow the root ball within this middle section. And then for here, because it's a see-through glass, you can see the exact water amount there. So you just need to make sure that you water up to this level where it doesn't flood the root ball. You want to keep the root ball intact, so you water it up to this level, and this amount of water should be able to last you about 1 or 2 weeks, right? Of course, the taller is your pot, the more water you can keep and the longer the plant can survive. That's exactly how plants grow in the soil when you plant it into the ground, and then the root really deep, right? That's how the plant can survive for a very long time. So I hope that this very short video will teach you a little bit better about soil and drainage, and also how to really generate baby plants from the spider plant with 0 cost. Alright, so enjoy the time at home. If you need to buy or you need to get these guys, you can always go to the link and you can get, they're really cheap, and you can grow again and again and again. I have so many of these plants back home. So enjoy and have fun. Bye bye.